Okay. All right. So we're recording now. So we're doing an interview. And Amanda, tell me a little bit about you in your office or what you do in your office.
Sure. So I am the regional director of operations at Lightwave Dental, and I support some of our practices in Hampton Roads, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So I do all things operations for 14 locations currently in our group.
Wow, that's a big job.
Yes.
Okay. So I know since you do that, you kind of had a part in setting up those offices. So can you share a few words on how it was decided to sign up with Zen?
Yes. So, last year, obviously, so many businesses were struggling just with inflation and the cost of things going up. And I mean, we do our best to work with our teams to focus on the things we can control. And one of those things is dental supplies. So we really just started to take a look at our offices that were above a 5% spend monthly on dental supplies.
Yeah.
And then actually, River Run Dental introduced Zen supplies to Lightwave Dental, and we kind of brought it out as an option for our offices, specifically those spending more than 5% monthly on dental supplies.
Yeah. So how has the implementation of the Zen platform for inventory management and order placement affected your day-to-day operations?
Yeah. So right off like out of the gate, right? We're an organization that we try to stay ahead of the curve on everything. So when technology comes up, we definitely are driving our practices to give those options, a try. However, we also don't force anybody to do anything. So in the
Yeah.
beginning, there was a little bit of like, hey, this is not how we've always done things. How is this going to
Hmm.
work? You know, it the fee per month, is it going to be worth it? Are we sure we're going to get all the pricing? But I can tell you that once we got over that hump of like what it actually means, the people that have enrolled in it are like, I don't know what we did before this.
Yeah.
Like our practices, I mean, we've tried to have Excel spreadsheets that, told us what our budget should be, and then we log every invoice. But every month, we would have our main vendor where we'd load a budget in and we'd be like, all right, our budget's $5,000. We'd stay under budget. We'd be like, great, we did it. And then we'd see our invoices from 6 other vendors where we order one-off things from, and suddenly we're way over budget. What Zen Supply did is took that, and rather than us having to try to plug in every invoice into an Excel spreadsheet from 17 different vendors, we've now have
Yeah.
all of our vendors streamlined in Zen Supply with one singular budget that our managers can now completely keep track of and communicate really well with their clinical teams on.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that with a lot of the Lightwave offices and helping them streamline. And I'm really glad to hear that feedback from you that offices are really enjoying it too. You may have kind of already answered this, and I'm going to kind of put it into a two-part, but can you walk us through the steps that you took to adopt and implement Zen supplies in your offices? And what challenges did those offices face during the implementation process? And then how did they overcome them?
Yeah. So Lightwave Wide, actually, Sandy Sinstad, who does a lot of
Yeah,
our,
love Sandy.
yes, she is director of clinical support, and she worked really hard to collect all of the login information right away for every one of our practices for like the big 5, right? The Bencos, the Henry
Hmm.
Schein, all of those. So that was handed to our practices, right? So that was, here are your logins, here are the instructions. She really streamlined that for them. And then just really like every time I would go into an office that rolled it out, that there was maybe a little bit of frustration, we would go and the thing we focused on in the beginning was that vendor login
Yeah.
list.
Hmm.
Because once they saw how many vendors are available, that is where it unlocked. Because in the
Hmm.
beginning, we maybe only had 3 or 4, and then they're like, well, are we really getting the cheaper pricing? Are we pulling in all the information? That was really the key, was focusing, like, number one, if an office could do one thing to be totally prepared, have a login list ready to rock.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Once you have that and once we're able to pull all that stuff for you, it's all in there and then you're ready to go. It's pretty
Yeah.
much just there. And all
Yes.
that's left is the customization if you want to do the customization.
Yes.
Okay, so as you know, Zen emphasizes the importance of having a dedicated person manage the software to ensure that it runs effectively. So do you have somebody in each office that's responsible for managing the software processes? And what
Yeah.
skills and qualities do you think are necessary for that person to have?
Yeah. So we do, it varies for our offices. Most of our offices, it's either a lead hygienist or a lead dental assistant. It's really important for them, obviously, because they understand the clinical aspect. They know whether or not we can sub a generic or not sub a generic. So that's really important. But most of the time, they're also partnered with their manager who helps them understand the budget, where to find the budget. Then ultimately, the managers are getting weekly emails of what we're spending, where we're ordering from. And there is a little bit of art to it that maybe somebody in the clinical environment doesn't see right off the bat, like making sure that you're looking at quantities with the pricing and things like that. So it's really a partnership between mostly a clinical lead and then a practice manager. And the qualities are obviously the clinical knowledge of the supplies. And then for a manager, it's that operational skill, the business understanding of the importance of a budget and how to evaluate things, shipping costs and quantities and, things like that, and how we can be better. One of the big things that we also have rolled out during the process for a lot of offices is weekly inventory versus monthly inventory. We've found
Mhm.
that if we inventory more often, we stop ordering as much in bulk. There's a habit of like, if we only order once a month, we better order enough so we don't run out.
Yeah.
If we're ordering weekly, we end up actually ordering less and end up saving more money.
That's awesome. I do kind of feel like I see some offices doing like weekly or biweekly orders versus the monthly, but then I also do see some offices that are trying to do those bulk orders instead. So that's really cool how you guys have found a balance between what's working and how to really save the money and the budget
Yeah.
too. Okay. So how did you train your team to use and supplies effectively?
So it's kind of like ripping the band-aid off. A lot of them, it was a challenge and it was, it's a new software and this isn't how we've always done it. That's definitely it's a mindset challenge. But
Yeah.
what we did is as an organization, like I said, we outlined really, we said, if you are spending more than 5% a month on dental supplies, what is your reason for not trying Zen Supply? And
Yeah.
most people didn't have one, right?
Hmm.
So then it became, okay, we're going to roll it out. We got to give it a shot. We did have a couple offices go ahead and kind of give feedback, which went really well as well. But it's really just kind of pulling that band-aid off, getting outside of your comfort zone, and then soaking up as much training as humanly possible. So for me, my managers at every location, we meet once a week as a team. We repurpose that time several times to go over, pros and cons of Zen Supply, how the rollout's going. We review, like, are we happy? Are we not happy? What are our concerns? What are our issues? And that's really helped us as a team. Because once your teammates start to see the benefit, I mean, I had the aha moment with so many
Mhm.
practice managers who plug those numbers in and see where we're actually spending. And they go, oh my gosh, I thought I was always so good about, pinching a penny or making sure we're not overspending. I had no idea. So it was really that like, let's all commit. We're going to try for 90 days. If we're miserable, we'll figure it out after. But so far, no one's miserable. Everyone's
That's
really, yeah.
good. That's awesome. So how do you ensure that it's being used effectively and efficiently by your team
So
with that collaboration with your managers?
yes. Well, yes, that. So, but also we as an organization, we review our financial performance every month.
Mhm.
So we watch those numbers. And this software has really made our managers tune into that even more because it
Mhm.
felt like, yes, it's a controllable thing that we can work on, but can we really control it? And now the answer is yes, because we've rolled out Zen Supply.
Yeah, I send those numbers to you guys all the time. Okay, let's see. So, how has management of the software affected your practice's overall efficiency and productivity? And can you share specific examples of how Zen has helped streamline those operations with time and money with your practice?
Yes. So I mean, obviously, doing everything in one place is amazing. I can't tell you how many offices I had that had notebooks with sticky notes
Hmm.
about it's this price here and this price there. So just being able to view it all in one place and
Yeah.
being able to see, like, we can still use our preferred vendors, but we're making sure that they're stacking up against our competition too, and they're doing what's best for us. From an operational standpoint, like I said, being able to track the budget in an office,
Yeah.
it's just in one place. I can tell you, I had one of my managers. This is the one that I really had the aha moment with. She was putting in, we talk about percentages all the time as far as from a
Hmm.
spending perspective, and she was her very first month plugging in her budget for
Hmm.
Zen supply, knowing full well what she had spent the month before. And we were like, what's our goal? What did we say we wanted to do? We want to spend 5%. So we took 5% of the last month's collections. She plugged it in. And there was probably an expletive or two. And she said, I cannot believe how much money we've been spending when we should have been spending significantly less. And then she started to like that's where the inventory management gets really important.
Yeah.
Is, like I said, you have a clinical person kind of managing that who maybe doesn't see that all their, at the end of the day, right? I was a dental assistant in my life. The last thing you want to do is you go into that crown delivery and you don't have the cement the dentist wants, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, it's not going to be here till next week because I just placed the order. You're always trying to stay ahead of that stuff. But with an operational partnership between a manager and a clinical lead, we can be like, okay, how often do you actually run out of this? Okay, well, let's place an order next week because that's the new month. It's that partnership. And that's Allison that's at Dr. Davis's office in Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Mhm.
She is on it. She reviews things with her clinical lead who's doing the ordering. She is on top of making sure that, like, we're not overstocking, but we're not running out of products. There's a little, like, if you it happens, things happen, but
Yeah.
once you get your groove going, it's really a great partnership. And that'd probably be my greatest example, is that office where they've been able to really, I mean, the amount of just being aware of what your
Hmm.
budget should be and what you're actually spending, because it's all in one place, is really what has helped so many offices. But particularly, that's the example I could think of, is Allison, that moment of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we've been spending so much money.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I also used to be a dental assistant, and I have so many times, the reason I got into Zen was because I was a dental assistant and then I started using it. But before we had started using it, I remember so many times running out of things, and my
Yes.
doctor would be like, "You need to find this. We need to get it ASAP." And then I was spending extra money on like expedited shipping and all this
Yeah.
crazy stuff to get it there quick, quick, quick. And
You're
then
calling the
once
dental office down the street and be like, hey, can I bring you a check
yes,
and buy something off you?
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
I would even call, like, my regional reps that were in the
yes,
area, and then they would borrow it, like, from another office, and oh my gosh, that was wild.
yeah,
But it does really help solve problems and help prevent that, "Oh my gosh, like, we're
yes,
out of this and we need this, like, right now." But, of course, there is that human error, and sometimes
yeah.
there's even tech error too, but there's balance between the 2. And I do agree with you. I think Zen helps with that balance.
Mhm.
Okay, where did I leave off? I'm reading off of my thing. Okay, I think we did this one. All right, so looking forward, what are your plans for continuing to optimize and improve your use of Zen supplies?
So just one of the things that we have had to continue again is back to that vendor list, but also exploring, like, every time we add a new vendor, I constantly remind people, and like, checks in. I bet you it's in there. I bet you can add it. So that's one of the things, is that's, we need to keep on top of that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, because I mean, obviously that's important, right? That's how we manage our budget. That's how we make sure we get the lowest prices. But we're going to really just continue to try and really consolidate. If there's any one-offs, eliminate them. Continue to partner. Something that we try to do quarterly is just review our spending. Are things getting a little out of line? We have had some practices that have slid back into old habits, and we just, once a quarter, like, we kind of do a check-in, and how is it going with Zen Supply? And they're like, oh, well, we had this hurdle and we're a little frustrated. So then we just talk through those things, and it's just kind of keeping it fresh on the mind, but also celebrating the wins that these practices are getting with rolling it out is really going to help us continue to grow our utilization and make sure that we continue to really use it to its fullest potential.
Yeah, and just to kind of tack on to that, I'm sure you already know, I'm here for everything with those offices. So if they are going through any types of hurdles or even those wins, like we love to hear your guys' wins. We love the wins as well. So you can always send them our way and we can help them overcome those hurdles as well. So it's not only a partnership between your guys' practices, between your managers and your leads and your regionals, but it's a partnership with us too. And we are always here to help with those types of things. In your opinion, what is the biggest misconception that people have about using procurement and inventory management softwares, and how do you address it?
That the monthly fee isn't worth it, that we could do it internally. And
Mhm.
um, time is our most finite resource. And especially for our, our managers and especially and our leaders, our clinical leaders, they have so many responsibilities. And I would pay a lot to have time back. And I think Zen gives that back to us because there's no more chasing down the best price. There's no more chasing down invoices to make sure we're managing our budget. It's all in one place. And that really is something that you see once you start. That's
Yeah.
that like rip the band-aid off. Let's dive head first and let's come back to the surface in 90 days, catch our breath and see how it's going. But that's that moment of like, yeah, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so good to hear. Okay. So, what advice would you give other dental professionals who are considering implementing procurement and inventory management softwares in their practices?
Yeah. I think my advice would probably be don't think that you have it under control because you probably don't.
Yeah.
The reality is I mean, it happened to me when I was an assistant. It happened to me as a manager so many times that I was like, oh, I've got my budget under control. Look at Henry Schein. It's perfect. And then in
Hmm.
comes the invoice from Ultradent and from, Core and from Oral B. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I went so over budget. That I think my biggest piece of advice is like, unless you've got those, I do have an office that has their supply spend down at 2% that we were like, you know what, that's okay. You don't have to
Wow.
charge it high. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's so many offices that are like, oh, I have it under control, and then you look and you're like, I don't have it under control.
Yeah.
So you don't have it under control, but there is a solution, and Zen Supply is totally it, and it's worth every penny.
Okay. Last question. How do you see hold on. How do you see dental technology and software continuing to shape the dental supplies industry in the coming years?
That I read that question and I was like, ooh.
I know it's a big question.
Yeah, well, it's a big thought, right? So, like, I mean, technology is always changing, and there have been things that have rolled out, like price scanners that came and kind of went, and
Hmm.
inventory management in the office, and there's things that have stuck around, right? And I think it will continue to. There will be less of a gap from the technology to what's actually happening in the practice. There'll be more
Hmm.
access. It'll be easier to manage inventory. I really think technology is kind of going that way where
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen offices that have like implant vending machines where it registers how many implants are sitting in that vending machine. And when you pull it out of the vending machine, it has a limit. Like that tech is going that way. And
Hmm.
that's what's going to happen for us is that there's going to be less, it's going to give us back time. Technology is going to ultimately equal time for operators and leaders in the organization to be able to focus on things that are much more important than price checking every supply or, oh gosh, am I
Yeah.
$5 over budget? I think that's technology is going to equal time for us, especially in dentistry.
Yeah. I think eventually there's going to be something to where it will even be able to see what type of procedures that you're doing and know
Yeah.
exactly how much that procedure is going to cost, and then know what you need to buy each week.
And place the
So then
order
you
for
don't
you.
even have to think about it. Yeah, and then it'll just come.
Awesome.
Like
Imagine it can
I
like link with your software and be like,
yeah.
oh, they're doing a crown and they normally use, whatever
Mhm.
to cement
Wouldn't
it.
that be cool to see?
Yeah. Could you imagine? And then a
Yeah.
little drone will come and drop it off at your front
Yep.
door.
Yeah, not even DoorDash, just bring that drone right there.
Hey, in Europe, if you order food, there's a little robot that drives to you.
Really?
Yes.
I have seen those little
Like
cars,
little,
like, on
yeah.
the, like, college campuses.
Yeah, and
But
then
I've also yeah, hopefully it'll be something to where people can't mess with it though too, also, because you don't want people, like, messing with your dental
yeah,
supplies.
I know.
So drone, I think, would be
Yeah,
good.
just drop it.
Yes. Okay, well, this was great. I really enjoyed talking to you, and thank you for answering all these questions for us. And yeah, of course, if you need anything in the future, I'm always here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.